Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Inspired and Empowered Living TV show and podcast. We are live Tuesday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern on talk4tv.com, w4wn.com, and my YouTube channel. Today, we will be continuing where we left off. Mind over money. Emotional Mastery for Financial Success. Part 4. This is a hot topic. So join me today as we delve into the relationship between our emotions and financial decisions. We'll explore our feelings, beliefs, and how our subconscious mind shapes our financial behaviors, from spending to saving, investing to budgeting. Learn how to break free from financial stress, cultivate a healthier mindset, and gain a deeper understanding of your financial habits and how you can live an inspired and empowered life. Together, let's create a life you love. I'm your host, Nanci Deutsch, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker, certified hypnotherapist, and intuitive coach. And I combine my counseling, coaching, and intuitive abilities to transform your life. And the show is not a replacement for therapy, counseling, or other professional advice. This is for educational purposes only. And I see we have Country Corners Gazette in the house. Hello. And they're saying hello, and I'm saying hello back. So welcome all of you to back. And I am going to get to last week's questions because we didn't get a chance to finish them. So I'm hoping that the people from last week who asked the questions are back and in the house, and otherwise I'll have to listen to it on the podcast. So before I go into last week's questions, just a quick summary of what we've been talking about. And basically, it's all about how much your emotions affect your financial decisions. And I am going to give you an amazing statistic that I've learned through the years. And that stat is, okay, we got Charles. I made it here. I was running late. Well, glad that you're here, Charles, because I have your question and I'll be sharing it shortly. So glad you made it. So, what the stat is. Okay, before I say the stat, what I'm going to do is first I'm going to do my quick Psych 101 lesson so that you understand it more thoroughly. And it's a review for some of you. For some of you, it may be new information. I always believe in beginner's mind. So you may have heard this 20 times or more, but every time you may have a new insight or realization. So your conscious mind is what brought you here today. It's your conscious mind. Thank you, conscious mind of yours. So whether you are live or you're listening or viewing at a later time, thank you, conscious. I'm thanking your conscious mind for making the decision to be here. Your conscious mind empowers you to make conscious decisions, what we're working on for an inspired and empowered life is healthy, conscious decisions. Now, your subconscious mind is the part of you from the moment you were conceived to present time, has recorded every moment that you've been alive. And so you may have positive beliefs about money, but any limiting beliefs, any emotions that are coming up, even in present time, very often have their roots in what has happened to you in the past, or worry about the future. And even worry about the future, actually, in my opinion, has to do with the past too. Because if you were in that place of abundance mindset, then you wouldn't be worrying about the future. And that also includes past lives and your ancestors, and how your ancestors, how they believed about money and trauma, and trauma around money can affect you today. And so that amazing statistic that I was talking about, 95% of your emotions, your behavior, and your beliefs are based on that reaction or trigger. And so when you feel triggered or you have an emotional reaction in present time around your finances or around anything, around relationships or your relationship to your finances or other things, you are also reacting from your past. And your subconscious mind, it's all in that subconscious mind of yours. So the key is to make things conscious, so then you can do the clearing and the healing and the connecting. And what you want to do is you want to connect more deeply to the superconscious mind of yours. And that is higher power, universal consciousness. It is God, or that higher part of you called your higher self, this high love, unconditional loving and wise part of you, or your soul. And that's all part of your superconscious mind. And that it also includes your guides and your angels and beings of light. So that's what you want to work on. That's what you want to move towards, to go from reacting to that conscious place where you're making conscious, healthy choices about your finances and about your life. So we've been talking about how those finances and how that your subconscious beliefs and mindset affects your ability to make healthy financial choices, because when you're reacting from that subconscious place. So the key is doing the things that you can do to clear your energy. And one of the questions from last week's show was, how can we change those beliefs? So the ways that you change the beliefs, the first thing is you've got to uncover the ones that are limiting you. Like, I can't manage my money, or I'll never have enough money, or I'm not good enough to make the money that I want, All those are limiting beliefs, and all those limiting beliefs need to be changed. And the way that you change them is once you are aware of them, there's many tools. When I'm working with clients, we'll do body-centered healing and body-centered work to help clients get in touch with those limiting beliefs and then to heal them. And then we have also, if you also can do journaling and writing. Now, journaling and writing can also help you uncover those limiting beliefs. And then there's hypnosis, and I love hypnosis. And hypnosis can not only help you uncover the beliefs, it can also help you transform them. So, and then there's emotional freedom technique, which is tapping. So there's a lot of different tools that you can use to clear those beliefs. Now, another question that came in last week was, how can we notice the pattern and change it before reacting? So, and I see your question, Mickey, and I'll get to it shortly. When you there is going to be times where you may not be able to change it before you react. But that's really what's really powerful is once you start noticing that you're having a reaction, as soon as you can notice it, then you can start asking yourself the questions. What's creating this reaction? What is it that is going on inside of me that is creating this feeling or thought? And once you understand what the belief is or the emotion, then you can start taking steps to change it. And so that's why you may not be able to catch yourself before you're in a reaction. Now, if you do notice that you're reacting, one of the things that you can do is to take a breath and to breathe and even count to 10. And that can calm you down if you find and you notice that you're in a reaction. So that is one of the things that you can do. And the more that you can become aware of what triggers you, then you can start and you start healing and learning about those triggers, or learning and healing the triggers, then you can prevent a reaction before it even happens. But remember, it's not having a reaction. What's most important is how quickly you can recognize that you're having a reaction and then learn how to transform it more quickly and easily before you actually have dysfunctional behavior, like making a financial decision that is unhealthy rather than coming from your conscious mind where you're making a healthy, conscious financial decision. So that's really important. And Mickey asks, so writing is one that could help. Yes. When you start journaling can help you uncover the beliefs. And also you can even ask, as you're writing, what can I do to help myself to help heal this, and see what comes? Because as you're writing, now remember, when you're writing, you don't want to be in thinking mode. And thinking mode is that mind chatter, because if you're trying to figure it out or think it out, you're not going to let the energy flow of what really wants to come through. Because then you can when you allow the information to unfold, that's when your intuition can come through so that you can then get more accurate answers. And that's what you're working for. And here's the thing, another tool with writing is letting it out and venting and expressing. There's Julia Cameron wrote a book, The Artist's Way. And I've talked about this before. It's a wonderful book, especially if you want to be more creative. And one of the things that she talks about in the book are the morning pages, where she talks about when you get up, you take 3 pages, you just write and you write and you write for 3 pages. It's like you're doing a morning emotional dump or belief dump. And as you express, hopefully by the end of the 3 pages, you start feeling lighter and happier, or even in more awareness of what's creating the stuff that's going on for you, because then you can then use perhaps another tool that can help you to clear the energy, because that's what you want to do. And I always talk about daily clearing, and then you want to do the deeper clearing. And the deeper clearing is really transforming those beliefs. But the daily clearing is really important because that sets the energy and the tone for the day. And it can help you to get into a better, healthier, higher state so that you can have a wonderful day. Misty asks, what if you can't fill the pages or if you have more than 3? So I am going to support you in being in touch with you. I'm giving you a general guideline, but I also want to support you in being able to go with that flow and be in the energy of what feels right to you. So if you're having trouble filling those 3 pages, and at the end of page 1 or 2, you're kind of just blank and you're in a feeling better in a higher state, then go for it. And what's coming to me to tell all of you is if you get to page 1 or 2 and you're feeling in the higher state. Now, remember, what you're going for is you want to go for the emotions of your soul and your higher self, and the superconscious mind of yours, which is peace and love and joy and gratitude. Now, if you get to page 1 or 2 and you're starting to feel that energy of peace, love, and gratitude, what I support you doing, and what the universe, because I'm getting the guidance to tell you, what I support you doing is to start writing your new money story. What is it that you want to create? Or what is it, instead of even want, what is it that you are choosing to create? And starting to write a new story for yourself. And that could be the beginning of something really powerful for you. So you clear the old and then you start working on the creation of what you want. Because ultimately, we want to be in creation. We want to be focusing on what we want, not what we don't want. And then if you have more than 3 pages and you need to keep venting or writing or clearing or journaling, go for it. Do whatever you need to do to help you to clear that energy. And I see we got some more questions coming in, and I will get to those questions shortly. I just want to get to last week's questions, finish those, and then we'll jump into this week's. And as always, you know I love answering your questions. So I'm grateful that you're here, that you're asking those questions and being inquisitive, because that's what it's all about. So, okay, so another question from last week was from Charles. And Charles asked, do you feel emotions react before intuition? So when I teach about intuition, I always support people to connect with their intuition when you're in a peaceful, calm state. It's very difficult to hear, to feel, to know, to sense your intuition when you're in an emotional reaction, when you're in an emotional state. And if you try to tap into your intuition in a state like fear or anger, you will probably not get an accurate answer until you find a way to calm yourself down so that you're feeling more peaceful and calm and relaxed so that you can get a more accurate answer. Now, another thing that way that emotions can affect your intuition is if you have beliefs, and those beliefs create certain emotions, like the belief, I'll give you an example, like, I don't know how I'm ever going to get out of this debt, or I'm just not good enough to create what I really want in my life. And what happens is when you have those beliefs, the emotions like hopelessness or discouragement may take over. And if you try to get an intuitive hit from that place, you're not going to get a real answer. So it's about learning how to clear that energy of fear or anger or discouragement so that you're then in a calmer, peaceful place. One of those ways is the writing. Then there's the tapping, EFT. There's hypnosis, whether you're doing it with somebody or you're doing self-hypnosis or you're doing body-centered work, emotional release work. Anything can help you to work through those emotions to help you to get to the other side. Okay? So that's really important. So thank you, Charles, for that question, an important one. As all your questions are important, because your questions, I just really want to acknowledge you for all your questions, because your questions really help support me in making it a better show, and also to help others, the listeners and the viewers, when they listen and view later, because you are the ones asking the questions that probably many are asking and thinking. So thank you. Okay, so the next question is from Misty from last week. And I know you have something this week too, so we'll get to that shortly. So Misty asks, what's the difference between beliefs and values? And how do we know if either are just lingering past thoughts? So beliefs are things that you believe about yourself and about your life and about views around money. Like the belief of I don't feel capable of managing my money, or I'm not good enough, or I don't feel worthy or deserving to create the abundance. And you may not even be that conscious, because a lot of these beliefs may still be in your subconscious. And perhaps while you're listening to this show, I may be making you more aware and conscious that there may be there. Because if you're not making the income that you want, or you feel like you want more money, there's some kind of belief there that's keeping you from being able to make that happen. And if you're not aware of it, then it's in your subconscious mind. And that's where the detective work to uncover those beliefs really can help you to move forward. And a value is how it's how you relate to or a worth. Like, for example, a value is honesty about money, honesty, integrity. Those are values that you place honesty and integrity in your business or financial dealings. So those would be values. And listen, values, beliefs lead to values, and even your values lead to beliefs. So they're interconnected. You can't separate them out, but I'm making a distinction for you so that you can then help yourself be able to get more clarity about what's running your life and what's running your mind and your subconscious. And the other part of that question, I just want to read the other part again, was how do we know if either are just lingering or past thoughts? And the way that you know is if something is affecting your finances now, there's something that you need to learn about, understand, or uncover in order for you to start shifting your mindset and your emotions around money and your financial decisions. Now, if you're starting to feel joy and gratitude and you feel that abundant flow, then everything's great. You're focusing on what you want and you're moving towards what you want. If you're not in that space, something from your past is affecting you. So your job is to uncover those beliefs and emotions that are limiting and that are creating unconscious or unhealthy financial decisions. Okay, so before we get to the questions, because I know we have a good number of questions coming in from this week's show, and I'm looking forward to getting to them. Before we do, I want to let you know that I'm very excited because next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, I will be doing a free masterclass it's called Undervalued to Unstoppable. 3 keys to charge what you're worth and thrive. And this masterclass, sorry, men, this is for women coaches, healers, therapists, and entrepreneurs, and helping professionals. And this masterclass, during the masterclass, will be covering embracing your worth and helping you to really shift and helping you to shift your feeling of undervalued so that you can move to unstoppable and gaining the confidence to charge what you're worth. We'll be working on shifting your mindset and how to do that and to uncover a mindset of abundance and possibility, and then learn how to charge your clients. So understand the psychology of pricing and how to help others see your value and gain practical tips for communicating your rates to clients. So Rebel, please put the link in the chat, and you did. And you want to go to inspiredandempoweredliving.com/masterclass. It's the name of the show, inspiredandempoweredliving.com/masterclass. And again, during this masterclass, Undervalued to Unstoppable, charging what you're worth and thriving. So really hope that you'll join us, and looking forward to having you there. 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, July 25th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So Looking forward to having you there. Okay, so now let's get to questions from that we have from today. So, the next question, I got allergies going on, so excuse my. All right. So we had Misty's now country corners. How do you know if you're writing from those places? Okay. So what happens is when you're writing and you're just allowing the energy of the flow to happen, you'll know. You'll start seeing a shift. Because if you start writing like, oh, I'm feeling grumpy, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling frustrated, discouraged, or I feel so scared of what my future is because of my finances, or I'm frustrated, I just can't get ahead. What's wrong with me? Why can't I just make it? So if you have those beliefs and those things going on, then that's your past stuff. That's not where you want to be. And what's going to happen is you'll start seeing changes. Like maybe you'll start going to possibilities. Like, for example, you may start in that place and then maybe you'll see, well, you know what? Maybe I can start changing how I think about myself, my value, my worth, and start thinking that I deserve to have more money, that I am worthy. And that, so if you start seeing changes as you're writing, then you know that you're on the right track and that you're moving towards where you want to be. So even if you can't go from feeling, like really down to feeling, oh, so positive, even if you start moving a little bit into possibility, or you start seeing the changes as you're writing, you're moving in that direction. So that's what I want to support you in looking for. Looking for. Okay? So definitely that's how you know that you're in the process. That's how you know that you're changing. Now remember that once you get into the better space, the space of possibility, you want to keep focusing on that to help you to keep working on moving towards where you want to be. Okay, so Mickey asked, are these pages like writing a story? So the pages, when you are in the process of releasing the old energy, when you are in the process of letting go of the old energy. Now, very often when I'm working with my clients, what I have them do is I have them journal after they meditate, and talk about what happened to them during the meditation, because usually the meditations that I do are transformative, so that they can then take actions to keep journaling and transforming and moving towards the story that they want. So when you are writing, it doesn't necessarily mean it's your story. Now, your story may come out or pieces of your story may come out as you're writing. And if you want to use some of those pieces, by all means, if you're working on writing your story. But what happens is usually the first part of what happens for you is you're doing an emotional dump, release, letting go. And that can be part of what happens to move you towards the story about your life that you want to write. And the story that you're writing about creating what you want is the story that you're feeling inspired. This is where inspired and empowered living. You're working on the story of your inspired and empowered life. And that's what you want to focus on. So it's part of the journey. It's part of the journey. But it doesn't mean that it's your story unless you take pieces of what you got and put it into your story. So your story may have pieces of it, but it may not be your story. So hopefully that answered your question, Nikki. Anastasia asks, do some people live in certain emotions? So yes, there are certain people that tend to react, let's say, in anger more than others. And their first go-to emotion will be anger. And that could be, it's their default. I call it the default emotion because anger has been perhaps an easier emotion for them than, let's say, sadness or grief or even fear. And so someone may cover up the fear or the grief or sadness with anger. So they may have that. Now, other people, if you are someone who tends to be anxious, your go-to emotion, your default pattern may be fear. So yes, there are certain people, or you may have certain go-to emotions. And the first reaction that you have could be fear. I know many clients that I work with, their first reaction, whether it's about money or their life or their health, is fear. Like they go to the worst case scenario. And that's their go-to reaction. And so it's learning to change those go-to reactions and the go-to emotions, because those emotions are the default pattern. They're what you go to. They're just the automatic reaction. And working on changing those automatic reactions really can transform your life. And it can help you get in touch with perhaps other emotions that you may not have been allowing yourself to feel. And now remember, all emotions are not good or bad. They're energy that wants to move through your body. It's energy in motion. They want to move. So it's about moving through them and breathing through them. But when you notice that you have a default emotion, you can start saying to yourself, oh, yes, got it. I'm in this default reaction. And you can start talking to yourself about that. So, something to think about. Okay. And Country Corners Art says, I hope you feel better. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I hope I do too. Allergies are the worst. Misty says, allergies are the worst. Hope you feel better. Thank you. Definitely working through it. And I also want you to know, I'm going to use myself as an example and allow myself to be vulnerable. Part of what I believe is happening for me right now. So yeah, allergies are definitely affecting me and my eyes. I mean, I'm like, oh, I can't wear my makeup. And I'm like, I want to wear my makeup, but right now I can't. But anyway, what I'm saying, part of what happens, and I will share this with you, is that part of your emotions or the beliefs and emotions that you are processing can come out on the body. Now, all of you have noticed that there is definitely a mind-body connection. When you're feeling more stressed or when you're processing through something, your body will be affected. So I will tell you there's something I'm processing through. And I know And do I wish that I was through it? Yeah, I do. I'm not going to say that I wish that I was in it, like I wish I was through it. But I also know that when you're in a process, sometimes you can't rush it. And I know that it's part of what I need to do to help me move through and get to another place in my life. And I feel that this is part of the process. So the allergies and the eyes, and it's part of my process. And I will also share, do I wish it was different? Yeah, I do. But I also know. And so part of what can happen for you as I'm working on it too is that place of surrender, is learning how to surrender where you're at and coming to a place of acceptance that, okay, you know what? This is where I'm at. And I am trusting that I am moving through because I'm doing my work. I am doing work and clearing through the beliefs and emotions that are affecting me. And so it's part of the journey. So learning how to surrender, come to acceptance. And that includes whether it's about your health, around your finances, and also know your health can be affected by your finances, because if you're really stressed out, it could definitely affect your health as well. They are also intimately connected. You can't separate out your body and your health and your emotions around your money too. They're all going to affect, everything's going to affect, because we're one whole being. And so that also. And Mickey says, that time of your allergies get back. Oh, I hope you're feeling better. Thank you, Mickey. Okay. All right. So I see that Anastasia has a question, and I think there's a few questions that came in. So what I'm going to do is we are going to continue this next week, and I will keep those questions coming. I love them. Thank you. So we'll continue talking about this topic, and we'll continue answering your questions in next week's show. So we get a part 5. Yay. I love it. So, Misty says, almost like a detox for the soul. Yep. So, and I do believe that part of our process is we're moving through whatever we need to move through so that we can help ourselves get to the next levels of where we're meant to be so that we can create an inspired and empowered life. So part 5 next week. I'm going to answer any of you that have the questions. I'll answer them next week in next week's show. And I just really want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for participating. And those of you who are watching at a later time, so glad, or viewing or hearing at a later time, so glad that you joined us. And I really am so grateful to all of you. And we'll continue this next week, okay? So, and those of you who want to come to the masterclass, it's inspiredandempoweredliving.com/masterclass. And it's the name of the show, and then /masterclass. And it's for women coaches, healers, therapists, entrepreneurs, helping professionals. And if you want to know how to go from undervalued to unstoppable, 3 keys, 3 steps to charge what you're worth and thrive. So definitely join us next Thursday, July 25th at 7:30 p.m. And for all of you, I am wishing you an inspired and empowered day. and an inspired and empowered week. Have a great one, everybody. Bye for now.